I want to make a note here, just a historical note. Back when they were writing this in the 1700s, you reached the age of majority at like 14, and you were probably dead by 55. So 35 would have been well into middle age by then. So that 35, we might look at it and say, I don't know many 35s who I'd vote for president. And I'd go, yeah, you're probably right. But back then, a person who was 35 probably had grown kids. Yep. So, and
all right.
Anyway.
Well, I'm going to bring up more on leadership now since we're starting to press for time. It's 45 minutes in. We'll get into some historic examples of leadership. Since we're talking about founding fathers, Robert E. Lee's, I think it was his father was one of the leading, I think either a colonel or a general in the American Civil War, Light Horse Harry Lee. Robert E. Lee, of course, is known as probably the best American statesman out there, the best American general out there. And he was the chosen general for the Union, but he declined it. He declined the offer because Virginia was his country. So he became the leading general of the Confederacy.
Yeah, but how did he get it?
I read about it. It was originally, I think Davis eventually gave it to him right before the defense of Richmond in the Battle of 7 Days.
Well, but how did he earn it? I guess what did he do to what characteristics did he demonstrate? Because we're talking about leaders here that Davis wanted to give it to him.
It's kind of, we'll talk about that. Yeah, well, he had deference. He could communicate. He had no problem having deference to Davis and clear communications with Davis that other generals didn't have. And Davis, of course, was the president of the Confederacy.
Now, I'm the Yank of the group. It's interesting that you talk about deference because the successful the North had a lot of really bad generals. I don't think anyone
had some good ones too.
Yeah, I don't think anyone disagrees that they had some really bad generals, and most of those generals were we would call them political appointees from before the war. Now, but in a war, your political friends no longer matter. It comes down to deference to, I mean, I'm reading the bottom of your notes here, deference to the leader, a good leader is first a good subordinate, but also competence. The North had a huge competency problem.
Yes.
So a leader must have basic competence.
Interesting. Yeah, we'll get into that.
Am I jumping ahead?
Competence, you pretty much, but if you don't have competence, you basically have nothing. You can't even do your job as a leader. You can't do the basic things.
Can I compensate for my lack of competence with hubris?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like middle management?
Well, I might not be competent, but as long as I believe that my shit doesn't stink, I might make a good leader, right?
You might make I'm not going to call it a good leader. You might make a chosen leader because people, when times are easy, people don't know what they need to pay attention to. So they tend to pay attention to external signs. And as long as you project the external confidence, I mean, that's where the term con men comes from. They're confidence men. And that's really what.
Yes men, mean the bureaucrat men.
Yes.
Like in the churches and stuff. The useless bureaucrats. Okay.
There's a lot of similarity between the bureaucratic and the con men. They both use the same tools and tactics. to achieve their goals.
And we know that there have been a lot of religious con men.
Oh,
Oh yeah, we'll talk
Wrap
about that.
themselves in religion and lead a whole bunch of people to bad ends. Let's just put it that way.
Mark Driscoll. We're just a
Tim
name.
Keller.
Ooh,
How about Jim Jones?
Yeah, that's a name. Can I say this without getting canceled? Do you think we got a channel for saying Joseph Smith?
Well, he was a con man. So is Osteen.
Joel Osteen.
Oh no!
Oh.
Oh, I'm devastated now.
But Nick, Joel has more than one private jet. Shouldn't we listen to him? Look how successful he's been.
He's just another sophist.
Hey, Jerry Falwell had a private jet too, didn't he?
Was he the guy who did that big overacted tearful demonstration when he was found out for
No.
Yep. Or is that somebody else?
No, that's him. That's him. Just Jerry Falwell. No, is it?
We talked about this in our corn episode.
No, it wasn't Falwell. It was
You sure?
Pretty sure. The I have sinned. No, that wasn't Falwell.
You should.
I am drawing a blank.
He was in Louisiana, wasn't he? Jimmy Swaggart.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Jimmy Swaggart. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the Jimmy Jerry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Close in my head.
Oh, it's good Southern names.
Well, talking about Southerners, let's get back to Lee. Lee, as a Southerner, good Virginia, whom also related to, Lee was focused on winning the war. So this is a book about leadership. So I recommend getting it. It's by Robert Lee on Leadership, Lessons in Character, Courage, and Vision by H.W. Crocker. Very good book. I recommend buying it. Lee was focused on winning the war, not on advancing his career or jealously guarding his prerogatives. As he had in Mexico, Lee won respectability through competence. He won field command through that neglected Christian virtue, humility. And here he illustrated another of his paradoxical lessons of leadership. An effective leader needs to be humble. Why? Because a leader needs to subordinate himself to his cause, both so that he can envision its goals and its needs clearly, without the gauzy film of ego or self-interest coming in between, and so as to set an example of devotion to duty, a good not only in itself, but to keep one's subordinates focused on the very same goal.
Oh, do I have lots to say about this? Oh, so
Steve had a good comment before this started too.
Yeah. Well, but we were talking about what, the red pill and leadership. What I find fascinating is that many of the purported leaders of the red pill demonstrate exactly none of this. They are flashy, they're all about making sure that that they have achieved some sort of status and success. And that's why you need to follow them. But what's interesting is, and we are going to get deep into this next week, men might follow you for a while, but they will not follow you through the fire. And there is always a fire.
Yes.
Because
men are forged in fire.
I'm going to say my piece here.
All right.
Here's how we absolutely agree and amplify and destroy the perception that modern Christians have of servant leadership.
Mm.
Oh, absolutely. Jesus was a servant leader. He was a servant to his purpose. And he was a leader
Oh.
of his subordinates.
Mm.
He was not a servant to his subordinates. So, servant leadership, hell yes, I'm all in favor of that. I serve my purpose, and I am a leader of those under my authority and protection.
So what you're saying is right now, nobody's getting this right.
I think you're right. Yes, no one understands this. So, rather than say, you got it wrong, just say, you got it right, but you don't really know what it means.